No. I need to fix some things because they do not save. I don't know why. I thought I saved the progress for when I was testing out like colors for the character design. For some reason I didn't save it. I feel silly. And then I forgot about it over the weekend. But like, since I still have like the image I posted, I can just grab the colors again. It's just I need the reference of like what it should look like. And I'd rather color pick it from the document file rather than like a PNG image, just because artifacting and whatever, all that fancy stuff. So this is what we doing for now. Because this is the ref sheet, and I need to fix the colors on here. But I'm still keeping the eye detail. If you look into his eyes, like I'm still keeping that, but it's gonna be like, oh, that's just what his eyes turn into when he's like activated. Now, what happened to my reference? I don't have many screens. Big sad, big sad. I need more screen. Give me the image I seek. That's not where I wanted to go. There, I found it. And I will have it off to the side so I can see from the corner of my eye. And also over the weekend I was experimenting with Blender. Wow. I learned more about Blender in 4 days than I ever did in Maya for 2 years. And that's saying something. I think part of the reason why I barely retained anything is because they like focused more on like having like a realistic look. It's like, oh, you gotta be more like realistic. You gotta have all these topologies and sculpting and but like I don't know. I don't know. It was just I don't really like realism all that much. But for some reason, the gaming and animation industry really loves it stylistically. And I'm like, nah, that's boring. I mean, you can have fun with other aesthetics too. But it's like, yeah, I get why you want us to know how realism works so that you can stylize better, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like it's a little unnecessary. Because almost all the big studios keep doing like the same thing, and it's just like, ugh. Boring. Like, why are you so boring? I want style in my games. I don't like realism. I mean, it has its place, that's for sure. It's not my aesthetic when I want to play again. The only realism I care about is in the writing. I'm flashbang. Do I really need to do this? I have the image off to the side so I can just think smarter, not harder. I'll leave your cape. There's your colors. We need to figure out what happened. I like how different the vibe is for this. Because this is something I don't usually do, but it also fits very well with the aesthetics I'm going for. Which is like old school, not really old school, but like more like 90s era anime. Because like the marks on his face are just face paint. It's not actually a beard because I already have a character with facial hair. But I personally just don't like drawing facial hair out. It's just not my thing, you know. And almost every character I draw is like things that I find interesting in a character, you know. But you know, you need variety if you're making a cast of characters for a silly little game. A silly, silly little game. May or may not ever see the light of day. Don't hold me accountable for that. I mean, if I had more support for it, I'd probably be more inclined. But I'm just a silly little creature. Just doing my own thing. I'm not bothering anybody. I'm flourishing in my lonely. The art of minding your own business. I'm living up to my ideals of just being. And lag. I think the bright orange was not looking so good for this. It's like, yeah, I want an accent color, but that's what the red is. At least for this design. Well, now that I think about it, the final sprite for this might not match up 100% with this, but this is like the frame of reference for what it should look like. If that makes sense. Because, like, I did do a few test drawings for him. But, like, this is mostly for colors. But I want to keep that kind of consistent. Little things usually end up changing anyway when I draw stuff. Oh, hello! Good morning! It is okay. I started not that long ago, so you're not that late. Morning to you, Marcus. Well, actually, it's afternoon now. But I did wake up in the morning instead of, like, in the afternoon like I usually do when I'm not streaming. I am finalizing the color scheme for our Mephistopheles character here. I left it up to a poll, but I had no results, so I just asked my friends, and they liked number 2 better, so we're going for a warm color palette. Yep. We're going for number 2, which is this one, the more warm color. Because yes, and I feel like it matches the cape fairly well. And I realized that the red accents are on the horns. By the way, I wasn't here last time, I was taking a nap, but I did still do the other algorithm things, liking and viewing the stream, and I hope it counts because you deserve the push. Oh, thank you. I'm just here. I appreciate all that support. I actually like number 3 the most, but you do you. Number 3. The non-existent palette, yes. Or I guess this original one, but yeah. That can work. I wish I'd thought of this sooner, because I'd rather have symmetry on right now, but I don't feel like moving the symmetry line. And I was also mumbling a little bit earlier that this is mainly for the color reference, because like tiny details I usually end up changing when I draw characters more. So like when I actually like draw a sprite for him, the details on the outfit might change a little bit. But everything else is still here. You may just be here, but you're someone who's leaving an excellent digital footprint. Who matters to the ecosystem of the internet? You're far more than you give yourself credit. Oh. Well, thank you. I do need a little bit of the confidence boost, but at the same time, I'm like, am I being too, like, full of myself? I don't know. It's like, I don't want to overestimate everything, but at the same time, it's like, I know I'm good. Good enough. Where? I gotta delete some layers because that might help with the lag. And merge some. I forget to name layers a lot. Okay. These are no longer silver. I feel like I should ask, how was your weekend? My weekend was not very eventful, other than I learned Blender in like 4 days. Don't worry for no. You're not overestimating yourself. You'd only do that if you pride yourself over the audio quality, but you don't. The audio and the choppiness of the model are the only bad things I can find about you. Yeah. It's the technical stuff where I'm just like, how? I do not have money, so I can't afford anything fancy and new at the moment. But I'd make do with what I have. And I feel like part of the choppiness for like the model is like my laptop. My laptop really doesn't like when I try to stream. It really doesn't like it when I multitask. But I'm stuck with it anyway because this was the laptop I needed for my studies. But I don't like Apple products. I need this for my schoolwork, but at the same time, I do not like this type of laptop. But you make do with what you have. Yeah, that's like a darkish brown. When you get enough of a consistent following, you should consider making a Ko-Fi or other donation method. That way you can get the money you need for a better setup. I'd advertise for it. That would be lovely. Very, very lovely. I mean, I've opened commissions before, but it doesn't really do much. Either that or I'm terrible at the whole online marketing aspect of things. Like, I've done a few commissions before, but like nothing crazy. It was mostly just Twisted Wonderland fan art, but like, hey, it was something. I did have like an actual job before. And I'm like in between looking for actual jobs. It's just, you know, it gets a little demoralizing every time you apply to things and you just hear nothing and you're just like, oh, well, I guess that means they don't need me. But I'm not here to talk about the downsides right now. I must finish this. I feel like if I have like a proof of concept for like an idea, maybe I'd probably try branching out more. You don't need to market. I'm good at marketing for people and events. I think I just need the right platform that allows advertising, and I can handle all of that even without a partnership. Ooh. Nice. Nice, nice. Oh, yeah, I was also messing around with like a dog hair option, but I'm like, nah. Like, I want his hair to be white. It was an idea I was messing with, but I'm just like, silver hair makes me think more like wise creature. Even though he's, I like characters that are goofy, so he may be wise, but he's goofy. Oh wait, the eyes. Oh, I don't want that merged. I have an idea for the hair. Make it like so bring more from Middle Earth, Shadow of Morgan. Hmm. Let me look that up real quick because I don't know much about Lord of the Rings or anything like Middle Earth or whatever. It's like I need to watch it. Even my dad's like, you should watch Lord of the Rings and all that. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't feel like it. I am looking. Interesting. Good consideration. Appreciate the suggestion. Honestly, I really need to watch Lord of the Rings. But it's never come up. I have a long list of things I need to watch. And or play or whatever. Trying to organize my layers real quick. It's like, I have too much stuff. I'm trying to get a certain hairstyle or inspiration, but no. And if I don't know a good thing to base it off, I will look. You're welcome. don't know, when I drew him, I was very content on him having a bun. Just having like a fancy updo. But I do like toying around with the idea of giving a lot of the demon characters that I have, like a second appearance, like a human form kind of a look. So that might be part for his. Might be a good one for him. My leg is irritating. Are you done? Okay. That's enough for that. There we go. He looks so cozy. This would just pull out. Yes, please. He's so cozy. I like him. It turned out lovely. Now where's this? That side. We're doing back now. Should be simple. This part should be simple. I might need to clean up the line art, but because I just I like doing this, but my line art sometimes sucks, so I don't know why every time I try to like zoom in, it starts lagging real bad. But like every time I'm just drawing, it's like fine and running like it should. By the way, your channel's profile picture unironically looks good enough for a comic book or video game. Oh, thank you. I do like video games. I kind of like it when my inspirations shine through in some of the stuff that I've been making. Now I kind of regret that I didn't go into game art. I went for animation. If you want a more human design for your demon, since Sojourn isn't elf, maybe you can go for a Lucius Malfoy inspired. More things to look up. Well, it is kind of funny though, because like when I was like messing around with drawing this character, I was thinking of Mephisto from Blue Exorcist. And I'm like, I don't want him to look too much like that one. But he unintentionally kind of gives me the same vibes. Then again, they are based off of the same thing, so that kind of makes sense, but... Lucius Malfoy is the father of Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter, by the way, if you're confused. Now, I figured... I've never read or watched Harry Potter in my life, but I knew so many people who did. I know the characters. I know enough of the characters to figure that out. I mean, I remember seeing like one of those Harry Potter movies when I was a kid, but like I got scared. I got scared of, I don't know, the forest or something. I don't know what it was. I don't remember the scene at all. I just know that there was like something spooky and I ran out the because I was a child who was afraid of everything. Even Harry Potter. Other things that I found like scary back then was Goosebumps. It's like, oh yeah, horror for kids. You're not really supposed to be that scared of this stuff. You're not supposed to be having nightmares, but then there's me and I'm like freaking out. I promise you, you are absolutely missing out because Harry Potter is wild in the best way. It blends real and fantasy history in a very interesting way. Yeah, I know. I've watched a few like spin-off Harry Potter stuff, but like I haven't really sat down to watch the movies in full. Like I should. But like when I was little, I was intimidated by the size of the books for some reason. I don't know why, because like looking back on it, the books are not that big. I don't know why I thought that. Like they're not big books. Although it is funny, my parents were the type of people who are like, "Oh no, that's witchcraft. Don't read that. That's bad." But then they mellowed out over the years, so. But it's funny, like they didn't really have to tell me not to read it because I was already scared of the movie. I never really liked Goosebumps that much as a kid. I never read many of the books, but I did watch the show on the Hub, now Discovery Family, and I didn't really like it except for horror. I have a funny story of part of the reason why I don't like Goosebumps is because like I was like in kindergarten and in elementary school when it's raining outside and they don't let you go outside for recess, they would put on like a movie. They put on Goosebumps, the Mask one, and I had nightmares. Had nightmares after watching that. I hated it. Like I had to leave the room. But more accurately, I had to leave the hallway because they had us sitting in the hallway for some reason. I was like, nope, nope, I'm out of here. Nope, this is scary. Bye. I'm crying now. I was that child. I think you are afraid of the dark is superior to Goosebumps. Oh, I'm a little bit too young for that era. Only by a little bit. Like, I know what it is. I've never watched it though, because like it's just like a little bit before my time. Only a little bit. I was like, what? That was like a what mid to late '90s show. I was born like near the end of the '90s, so like that's one of the shows that I never saw. But it is funny because like now I'm not that afraid of horror. Or at least the stuff that I used to be afraid of. Which was mainly like witchcraft stuff or whatever. Like I'm not afraid of that anymore. I just don't like most horror movies because like I don't like the gore effects or whatever. I'm just like, ew. That grosses me out a little bit. Weren't you guys a little too young to watch Goosebumps anyway? I know it was written for school-age kids, but your age when the story happened seemed a bit young. Yeah, I was like 5. I was born in '98, if that gives you a frame of reference. I'm not really afraid of horror that much, really. The most afraid I got was feeling tense when watching The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. A classic. Also, my sister really likes psychological horror stuff. I don't really like it that much, at least the stuff that she watches. But I remember this one time she was like we were all like together watching like a movie with like my sister and my cousins, and like she put on like a horror movie that she saw on like the internet online or whatever, Unfriended or something. I don't think it was that one, but it was like one of those like digital horror movies where it's like, oh, you got like spooky messages. Unfriended, I think it was. And like toward the end of it, it took a supernatural turn, and my sister was like, and my cousins too, they were like, oh no, we gotta turn this off. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm not that scared. I wasn't scared throughout most of this, actually. Yeah, I may be a Gen Z kid, but classic movies hit better to me than modern, especially in the field of horror. Yeah, I'm like technically Gen Z, but it's like that weird late 90s, mid 2000s Gen Z era just does not feel the same. Cuz like I was working at a theme park. I was working with coworkers who were like Gen Z as well, and it felt like talking to a completely different person, even though we were like 5 years apart in age and knew most of the same things. It was just like wild just talking to some of them. I'm just like, I don't understand. I do not understand you. I do not know what this. I don't get TikTok. Back in my day, that was called Musically. Oh, wait, I also like really watching classic cartoons too. Those were always fun to watch. Especially like when you're like sick in elementary school and then you just put on like Cartoon Network or whatever and you're just watching reruns of like Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes all day. Those were the days. Although like one of my favorite Cartoon Network shows of all time is Chowder. I love it for some reason. It's so goofy. It's so silly, and I rewatch it sometimes. I'm just like, I love this. I love this goofy cat, bear, raccoon thing. He's so silly. Oh, that's the wrong color. Oops. The hands are a little funky, but I don't. Although surprisingly, I was able to watch a few like cartoons that technically scared me a little bit when I was younger, but like I grew out of it kind of quickly. Courage the Cowardly Dog is the prime example for that one because I would watch it sometimes, but it didn't scare me as much. Mainly because I didn't really catch too many episodes of it. So, like, every time I saw it, it was just funny. the fact that for a while I didn't really watch a lot of Cartoon Network. I watched more Nickelodeon cartoons when I was younger. And then there was a time where I watched a lot of Disney Channel cartoons because we finally had Disney Channel. But then it's like by the time Chowder was a show, I was like, oh yeah, I like this show. I like it a lot. My sister liked Flapjack for some reason, but like that one kind of grossed me out a little bit more. I'm just like, eh. He's a little too ugly for me. But like I still like it. Mostly nowadays, it's just like when I was younger, it's like if something looked ugly to me, I did not want to watch it. Flapjack is good. Fun. Yes, yes, it was. You want ugly? Look up the puppet movie Marquise, which is a French movie about a real historic person whose name I forgot. Interesting. Interesting. I'll probably consider. Speaking of movies, I remember when I was younger, my uncle had a copy of The Last Unicorn. And me and my sister had never seen it, so we borrowed it. And we had nightmares after that. I don't think we ever finished the movie the first time we saw it because like the bull showed up and me and my sister freaked out and we were like, no! And after that they had to vet every movie that we watched. Because again, like when I was like 5 or 4 or whatever, I was like scared of everything. Same thing with my sister. But it was that movie and Marley and Me where it's like, yeah, we gotta vet these movies before we watch them with you guys. By the way, I didn't notice until now, but I like that you gave them hooves instead of regular feet with the shoes. That's a good attention to detail. Nightmares in what way? That's not a movie I would expect to give you nightmares, but I also haven't seen it all the way. Oh, The Last Unicorn? It was the bull. Like when she was like talking about like what happened to the other unicorns or whatever. And she's talking about like there was like this fiery beast that chased us, and the imagery of the fiery beast is what scared me and my sister. So it's like, ah, no, evil. And again, like The Last Unicorn is a movie that was like made in like the 80s, so they kind of weren't really afraid to give kids nightmares back then. But like I've seen it recently, and it's still a very good movie. It's just like, I find it funny that I was a kid and I was scared of everything. You know what? His shoes unintentionally looking a little bit like hooves. Yeah. I can kind of see it. But like, it says a boot. So, I feel like I should have gone with that. That might be something that ends up changing if I draw like the body sprite for him, like officially. Speaking of The Last Unicorn, fun fact, Christopher Lee, one of the actors who also plays Count Dooku in Star Wars, actually voiced his character in German too. King Haggard was the name. Oh, cool. Multilingual. The only like case of like an actor voicing their character in other languages that I'm familiar with was Antonio Banderas. Because I'm pretty sure he voices Puss, like in like all the Shrek movies and the Puss movies, in both English and Spanish. That's like the only time I've been aware of that. But it is always cool when somebody's able to voice stuff in multiple languages. I like learning facts like that. It's always fun. You can have both hooves and shoes, and have the joke be that we don't know where the feet end and the shoes begin. I mean, he do got long legs. His legs are so long you can't really figure it out. I feel like the more I draw him, the more I'm gonna actually be able to get his forehead to look correct. Because, like, since he has his hair up, you're supposed to see a lot more of his forehead, and I want also the joke to be that his forehead is huge. Oh, that's a 5 head. So the forehead is an extension of his ego. Clever. Honestly, it just came from like this page of test sketches actually. Because like if I turn on the correct layer, I know it's here. New test scribs. I was like sketching him out with some of the other characters. Or one other character. And like your forehead's big. The little dude is supposed to be his boss too, so that's even funnier, in my opinion. The boss is like, you got a big forehead. I never realized that. I feel like almost a lot of my characters have like a silly little joke going on with some of their designs. The main character kind of has anime protagonist hair, where it's ridiculous looking. It's like, how do you get your hair up like that? think he's the only character I have that joke with, though. And then there's an angel whose patience is always being tested by the stupidity of everybody around him. If he's supposed to be egotistical, the forehead can act as a double entendre where it's not just funny because big forehead, but it's also visually represents his character. Yeah, I was also debating whether or not I should put like a symbol on his forehead, but I'm like, like with the eyes, I think that would have been too much because like the eyes are supposed to be all like hollow looking. And I wanted that to be the main focal point on his face. Because like almost all the characters that I've drawn so far have like some sort of symbol of like what sin they're affiliated with or whatever. But like his probably just gonna be hidden on his hand or something. I don't know. Also, you're very good at having high quality sketches before actually filling them in, like with the blue sketch you showed in earlier. Yeah. Sometimes my sketches are really good. Other times I'm just like scribbling out an idea and just leaving it there. But like for the most part, it's like usually I make like a really messy sketch and then I fill it in later to be more legible, but sometimes I just make a legible sketch. I didn't know that your characters are affiliated with the 7 deadly sins. I take it they're all demons. Most of them, yes. Most of them have some sort of like affiliation. The funny thing is, I came up with like this character, so a lot of my character concepts before I ever heard of the game Obey Me, which also has like a 7 deadly sins thing going on, and I'm just like, ooh. Unintentional inspiration right there, because I was not aware of that its existence. It wasn't really a thing to the public at the time when I started making these things in high school, so it was funny. But like it's also like a common anime trope thing too, so it's like, eh. I haven't finished Full Metal Alchemist either, but I know that's also a part of it too. What's the name of the game? That's not a familiar title. Oh, Obey Me. That's a Otome Light game is what that is. If you're familiar of the game genre of visual novels. Otomes are basically dating sims. The reason why it's like Otome Light is because it's like a free mobile game. So like technically all the characters don't have their own individualized roots. They're all just kind of there. And you can just have your favorite. But I do enjoy me some Otome games. On the rare occasion. Also, that's not the only instance of the 7 deadly sins being portrayed in games. Yeah, I know. A lot of stuff has it, so it's like I don't feel too self-conscious about that. It's just like, how can I have fun with this concept? That's the more important part. As well as how do I incorporate angels into my lore? Because I've noticed like a lot of stuff doesn't really incorporate angels that much. I know Bayonetta does, but like they're enemies. And like there's this one magical girl anime manga that I used to read that has angels in it too, alongside demons, and they're like two sides of the same coin, sort of. But like for the most part, most stuff is just like, oh, there's demons, but there's not really like what do the angels do? Well, what are they up to? Here's the unique thing about Full Metal Alchemists in Brotherhood. All of their defeats are ironic. I won't say how because spoilers, but they were very clever about it. I need to finish that. I really do, because like I started watching it, and then I kind of like stopped watching it for a bit, and then my mom started watching it, and then we stopped watching it for a bit. I also need to finish Magi in the Magic Lab of the Labyrinth or whatever it was. My dad finished watching it before me, and I was just like, bro, I am slacking. It's funny too because like I remember I was watching the episode where Sinbad showed up in Magi, and my dad was like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh, it's an anime. It has Sinbad in it." And my dad likes Sinbad movies, so he ended up watching the whole thing without me. It's just like, I'm slacking with my anime. Speaking of slacking, my mom, she kept up with One Piece. She started watching it back in like 2020. And she caught up with it, and then every once in a while she comes up to me and is like, where can I find more episodes of One Piece? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to do the fancy stuff on the TV. You just gotta wait. It is funny every once in a while. I see my parents and my mom's watching some anime. And I'm like, oh, I should probably watch that. Because, like, I think she's watching My Happy Marriage on Netflix. I'm kind of like, what is this? I should watch this. He looks, one of the main characters looks pretty. I need to know what this is. And it also has something to do with, like, supernatural and demons and stuff like that, so. More things to add to my list of things to watch that I'll probably never get a chance to watch because I keep doing other things. Oh boy, I've reached the 1 hour mark. And I don't want my laptop to explode, so when I finish this, I'm probably gonna have to call it. I'm off now, so I can eat lunch now, but as always, it's been a neat chat and neat time learning about your characters. Just remember you're an awesome person who deserves a lot of love. And I'll go cred. Perfect timing too. Yeah. Enjoy your lunch. I'm almost done finishing this, so yay. Have a nice day. It was fun talking to you. I'll go YouTube algorithm, by the way. I mean, you deserve more push. Oh, that's so nice. Very, very, very nice. I probably should have picked up on that. I don't know why my brain wanted to think that was mutilated Spanish. I barely even know Spanish. No, it was just shortened because YouTube chat limits suck. Oh. Well, now I know it makes sense. It's not mutilated Spanish. Oh boy. Almost done. You know what? I will call it now because I don't want to hurt my wrist or my bones. But yeah, progress. I really wanted to finish this, but I might just finish it off screen. Tomorrow I might do something different. So either that or finishing this again. Who knows? It'll be a surprise even to me. I'm gonna try for Wednesday and Thursday to stream as well. Like I want to kind of get into a schedule of like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday streams, and then the other 4 days I'm doing whatever. Planning, yeah. Have a nice day. Adios.